here. We're at branding at my dad's place out on the desert, southeast Idaho by the big southern view. You can see it probably there in the background. Yeah. I just wanted to give you a little bit of kind of an intro into cowboy culture, because I know a lot of you, my networking friends, aren't into the cowboy culture so much. So I wanted to share with you my life. So here we are just in front of my dad's horse. And I want to see here, you got the fancy bridle and the bit, fancy bit. You can tell how cool the cowboy is by how cool his getup is. So, you know, the silver's good. Dad is more into the working and using stuff, and so he's not into so much of the fancy, a little bit here on the bit. Dad makes his own rein chains. You can see this, he does his own metal work there to make his rein chains. This is a bozal, rawhide, fancy. This is, you can't see it, but it's horsehair, and it's actually, he's used it so much, look how worn it is. There's usually horsehair, tons of horsehair sticking out of it. You can kind of see it right here. Anyway, so this is called a two-rein. So when you're on the horse, this is the here's the saddle, you know, and here's the rawhide reins. Look at, these are pretty fancy ones. I don't think he did these. No, it looks like he bought these. But, so when you're on the horse, the theory is that you actually hold up two reins at once, and you actually do more guiding with the bozal of the horse. So this part rather than the bit. Hang on, Kiwi. Sorry, bud. Sorry, bud. Don't get worried here. Anyway, so that maybe this horse is new to the bit, so you would want to use the bozal with the makati instead of just his reins. Okay. So anyway, so here's his dad's saddle. You'll notice that this is a slick fork, which means it doesn't have the swells here. These are, they call these squaw tits in cowboy culture. You'll notice that Dad has a slick fork. There's no rubber here. If you're used to watching rodeos, you see rubber on the horn. Yeah, rubber's for rodeo cowboys, not for real cowboys. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we use slick forks, and I'll show you my husband's saddle over there in a minute. He also has a slick fork with a different looking wrap here on his horn. Anyway, so Dad's saddle is just a good basic rough out. That means there's no tooling, no stamping, nothing fancy. It's just a good using saddle. Just a good working saddle. I can't remember who built this one. Freckers, yeah, Camp Freckers. So there you go, Freckers Saddlery from Idaho Falls, Idaho. And great saddle here. Good horse. They bought this horse years and years ago in Billings. I don't know how old he is, maybe 4 or 5. It's been a good one for Dad. I'm sure my mother's been bucked off him, as she's been bucked off almost every horse we have. There's many wrecks, many stories there. I'll tell you later. Anyway, so there's my dad's horse. Let's go look over here at my husband's horse. This is one of our little fancy Solano horses, and he's a bridle horse. You notice he doesn't have the bozal on because he's a bridle horse. Hey Stetson, say hey. Hey. Nice. Solano doesn't have a bozal because he is a full-fledged bridle horse. He doesn't need the bozal because Jess only uses the Romal reins with him. You'll notice the same kind of setup. We've got the fancy bridle, a little bit of silver with a fancy bit. Rein chains that my dad made. Check those out. Isn't that cool? Yeah, they're like barbed wire. Yeah, Dad made that. A lot of pictures, Aaron. I got all day of this. You're gonna get sick of me.
So did you ever get any of them ones like when I scoop loop that calf?
Yeah, I'll have to hook you up with YouTube. They're on there, loaded up. Here's the slick fork of my husband's saddle. Matt Thompson built this saddle. Matt Thompson out of Shelley, Idaho. You'll notice he has a slick fork. He doesn't have the buck rolls. That's what you call them, huh? I call them the other name over on Dad's saddle. And here's the slick fork here on Jess's saddle too. So you'll see Jess does have a little bit of tooling. So this is just a fancy piece. Good saddle here. Nice blanket there. So there's Jess's setup on Solano. Let's check out Aaron's. Aaron is more of a team roper. So Aaron's gonna look a little bit different. You'll see.
Aaron, that's a new horse.
You see this? This is just a fancy thing. That's a team roper thing. That's not a ranchy cowboy thing. That's Aaron. Okay. So another thing too, let's see, what's Aaron got here? Aaron's also got a slick fork with buck rolls. There's his rope. He's holding on in another horn there. I was just telling him about rubber versus slick forks. Why do you like slick horns? Why do you like the slick horn versus rubber?
Lets your rope slip a lot easier, so you can feed your rope to let cattle up, let ground crew have an easier way, and your horse takes it a little easier, not jerking your horse around so much.
Oh, good. For cool. Yeah, that's way cool. Aaron, what the crap? Have you got rope and reins?
Yep.
Okay, so rope and reins are just round ones that don't have a tail. They're not rawhide. These are made out of nylon. Is that what they are?
They're just like parachute cable is what they are.
Parachute cable, that's nice. That's cheating. That's cheap. Just giving you crap.
They are.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, and then Aaron's got his good Bali face horse here. You'll notice that Aaron, see, like I said before, the team roper part comes out of him because he only has this kind of bit on rather than a I'm sure you own a fancy bit though, huh?
Show his eyes off. Tell him that's what glass eyes are.
There's your glass eye, yeah. Okay, uh-oh, I'm being hailed. Gotta run. Okay, bye.